This video is going to be covering the basics of the Base Building Plus mod, commonly abbreviated BBP, which is popularly used in top DayZ servers. The content in this video is going to be catered towards players who fit into some of these categories. Being new to modded DayZ. Being new to the Base Building Plus mod, although you may have experience in modded DayZ, just on servers that use DayZ Expansion or DayZ Vanilla Base Building. Or you may be a player that knows what Base Building Plus is, but you don't commonly build for your team or group. If you're familiar with the core Base Building Plus concepts, this video is not for you, but I plan on making a more in-depth tutorial with advanced techniques. That video will be coming in the future, so stay tuned. Timestamps for different parts of this tutorial will be posted in the description of the video. If you already know some of the concepts, however, find yourself stuck on a small part of your building adventure. Most DayZ servers require a flagpole before you start building, or at least claim a territory as your own, so you have building permissions in that area. Some modified servers require that you buy or loot a flagpole or territory kit before you can build, while others let you build without one, but your base will decay after a short while. I recommend you check your DayZ server's Discord for information about what type of flagpole or territory system they have, as I will not be covering this since it is not universal across all servers. The tools you'll need to get started are nails, obviously, a crafting blueprint, something to chop down trees for logs, such as a splitting axe or hatchet, something to saw the logs into planks, such as a hacksaw or handsaw, and something to build with, such as a hammer or hatchet. Be careful with using a hacksaw for planks. Some servers designate this as a raid tool to break into tents. While these tools are the basics, you may also need a shovel if you plan on building anything Tier 3 inside your base. Speaking of Tier 3, if you plan on making some parts of your base Tier 3, you will also need to get concrete mix, mortar mix. You have to take your concrete to a mixer, which may be marked on your server's map, and mix the concrete using a car battery with metal wire and a cable reel. However, you may also use the louder option, which is using a generator and a cable reel. Simply attach the cable reel to the power source, attach it to the concrete mixer, place your concrete bags into the mixer, and turn it on. The mixer will spit out concrete bricks after a few minutes. In vanilla base building, you combine short sticks and rope to craft reusable kits for base building. But in Base Building Plus, we'll be using the Workbench. The Workbench creates single-use kits used in building with this mod. A workbench is crafted by combining 1 log and 5 planks. This creates a workbench in front of us, and we can pick it up and place it back down. Once the workbench is crafted, we need to attach the blueprint and the materials we collected. To interact with the workbench, we simply look at it and press K on our keyboard. Pressing K multiple times will cycle us through the different pages of the kits we can create: Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. If the proper materials are attached to the workbench, selecting a kit to create will spawn a kit on the workbench for us to pick up and place. Creating a kit consumes 5 nails, regardless of the tier or kit, and consumes materials such as wood, metal, or concrete bricks depending on the tier we want. Attaching logs to the workbench is not needed. Full information on how much of a material is needed to craft and build a kit won't be covered in this video. It would take too long to cover them all, but I have posted the link to a website covering what materials are needed for every base building kit. This part of the video will be covering all the different types of kits you can craft and build. I'm going to take a step back from talking, give my lungs a break, and show you some above average B-roll of the different types of walls, gates, roofs, ramps, and more. Feel free to skip this part of the video. There is a timestamp on screen which will take us to the building part of the video. For showing you where to look to get the build prompt for the kits, I will be doing everything with Tier 1 kits, since it is nearly identical for Tier 2. I'll be showing Tier 3 kits at the end, since some of the Tier 3 kits require a shovel to build. We'll begin with the foundations and floors. Once we get the foundation placed how we want, we insert the materials and look in the center of the floor to build it. Once the foundation is built, we place the floor kit and build that too. We will want to make sure the foundation is built before the floor, since building them in the reverse order will make the foundation inaccessible, and we'll have to dismantle the floor to get back to it. While we're here, let's talk about snapping. Snapping is the built-in feature of Base Building Plus that allows us to build at perfect angles and perfect placements. We may need to snap the floor to the foundation to get it centered. Simply look at the foundation underneath you, so the item bar and status dot appear on your screen. Left click with the floor kit in our hand to choose placement, and after you do this, press B. Select Snapping On, which locks the floor to the foundation, and select the portion of the wheel that centers the floor to the foundation. Next up are the walls, doors, and windows. We can place these freehand or by snapping them to our floor. Note that snapping to the floor or foundation does not matter, since when we snap it to the foundation, it will always leave a gap at the bottom. It's assuming we're going to be placing a floor there as well at some point. While we're building this, you'll notice a red side of the blueprint. This is sometimes called the weak side or the building side. We want to make sure that this is on the inside of the base, since this is where we build and dismantle from. If it's on the outside of the base, raiders could potentially dismantle their way in. To position the red part on the inside, if rotating the kit a little bit is needed, select Rotate from the snapping menu and use your mouse wheel to position it in place. Once this is placed, we look in the center of the blueprint, at the top or bottom, to get the building prompt. We have the option to build horizontal or vertical planks, or if you like the rustic look, wooden logs. Doors and windows are the exact same way, except there's a third step. Once the frame and the paneling are built, you'll have to build the door, shutter, or window bars. Half walls are the exact same as regular walls, but half the height. Who would have thunk? You can use these in place of windows on the top floor of your base, for example, as they are less costly than windows to build, but they provide you less cover if you find yourself shooting at players out of the base. Or the occasional cow. Chernars can be a tough environment sometimes. Survivors gotta eat too. Gates are great for building garages for your vehicles. We place our kit like usual and build the frame before building the gate or gates. Tier 1 gates have one door that swings overhead, while Tier 2 and Tier 3 gates have left and right outward swinging doors. Gates can be tricky since both sides of the gate seem to show up as red. We can tell which side is which by pressing tab on one of the sides. If it lets us put materials in, we know this is the building side. Stairs and ramps let you build up and down. Stairs are great inside of your base. building from one floor to the next, while ramps are great for getting vehicles into your garage. Building these is identical, where we place the kits by snapping them to our floor or foundation. Be careful though, you will want to step to the side after placing your materials in the kit and before building, so you don't get stuck inside when it's finished, like I've shown here. Roofs are identical to foundations and floors, in that we place the kit and complete building in a single step. Note that to place the roof, you'll have to use the snapping mechanic on a vertical kit such as a wall or door. Up until this point, we've snapped everything to our floors or foundations. Lastly, we get to the floor and roof hatch kits. You can place these just like normal floors and roofs, except there is a hole in them which you can use to traverse up or down. Once we place and build the first part of the kit, we get the option to build the hatch and the stairs. Building the hatch gives us an openable hatch, while the stairs that are built with this kit are more compact than normal stairs, since it's assumed we want to conserve space inside of the base. Some Tier 3 kits are built using a combination of a hatchet or hammer and a shovel. I'd like to think this is because you need to dig out the ground to support the concrete, because DayZ is all about realism, right? The kits you'll need to use a shovel for are walls, windows, gates, doors, and your floor or roof hatches. A hammer or hatchet is used for most of the building, but a shovel is needed for at least one step in these kits. A bag of mortar mix is also needed for all Tier 3 building recipes. Thank you all for watching this introductory guide on the DayZ Base Building Plus mod. I hope you were able to take away some information you didn't have coming into it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I will be coming out with a part 2 of this guide, which will include information on attaching window shades and barbed wire, advanced snapping techniques, and much more. I've been building bases for different groups I've played with this year, and I'd love to pass on some of the knowledge I've gained in that time. I also post shorter videos like DayZ PvP montages from various servers. Building gets boring after a while, you know? Sometimes you just get that itch to send people back to Kamishovo. Be sure to like and subscribe for future DayZ content, and until next time, survivors, peace.